Just remember, if you want to skip this scene and get straight to the destruction, you can click here where you can find the different chapters of the video. Welcome back to another video. Droids and Brakes here, and today's video is of pure destruction. All these items I have laid out before me, they're all going to be dropped from the very top of my bunk bed, which is about 6 feet. 6 feet high. All the items you see before you and some more things are going to be dropped. For all of you who like these creations, don't you worry. Each and every one of these will be rebuilt. Now, some of these sets are mocks you've seen in previous videos, like Big Chungus. Some of these sets are new creations, like this Model T trophy truck prototype. More information on that later in the video. And some of these are sets of mine or friends, like this Lamborghini Huricán Technica. This one's mine. Or this TIE bomber. This one belongs to a good friend of mine.
Disclaimer, the following actions are potentially dangerous. Before trying anything you see in this video, understand that I will not be responsible for any potential harm or damage to property. Make sure there are no people, pets, or other creatures in the drop zone, and if possible, pick up order of the drop zone to contain flying pieces.
Now, the way this video is going to work, we're going to go from the smallest item to the largest item. Which means, naturally, we're starting with a polybag scale version of the V-22 Osprey. This Osprey came off the giant carrier you saw in the background, which will be dropped later, which, by the way, can float on water. A really cool feature about this build is, like the real Osprey, it can take off vertically.
Come on, focus!
And then, when ready for normal flight, the propellers and engines fold down like so it can fly like a plane. This will be the very first thing to be dropped today. Alright, this is probably going to be anticlimactic. Here's to the first drop of the video in 3, 2, 1. I told you that'd be anticlimactic. Not the slightest bit of damage whatsoever. That's going straight back to the aircraft carrier. Up next, we have this F-14 that I've built. This is in a scale that I call the Lego metric system, because every stud on this model is the equivalent of 1 meter in the real model. So for example, since the real thing is 19 meters long, this is 19 studs long. Of course, can't always be perfect. This is about 20 studs wide, when the real one's only 19. When the wings are folded like this, it's 13 studs wide, but in the real one, it's only 11 meters wide. This has a really, really cool feature. Watch this. The wings can fold just like on the real one, so it can go even faster. There's adequate space in between the engines to fit up to 4 missiles. This is fairly flimsy, I will admit. Each engine is only held to the rest of the plane by these 2 studs right here. And each wing is only attached with those same 2, even less studs actually. A total of 6 studs holding this entire thing together, so let's drop this. Alright, for a few of these, depending on the severity of the damage, we will be dropping them twice. First drop for this model, 3, 2, 1. Oh, that held up about as well as I expected it to. Let's get this fixed up so we can go for the second drop. Now we're going to drop it nose first. Dropping nose first. 3, 2, 1. Oof. My second camera might have seen it, but while I was falling, it kind of tilted to the side. So I guess that's why one of those engines just completely shattered.
Up next, we have a fully functional Lego hand grenade with multiple chambers with multiple pieces. Don't mind the potato quality, it was shot on an iPhone 4S.
Next up, we have a Star Wars item, an unfortunately incomplete 501st Trooper Speeder, but the trooper's still there. I still have all my troopers. 501st Speeder in 3, 2, 1. Oh. That was quite the unpleasant noise. That sounded like it hurt. 501st Trooper, unfortunately, would not have survived that because he fell off and landed on his head. It sounded like his neck broke. The bike itself is about as fine as it can be. I do see some separation down there. I'm not surprised that this held up so well because it's just a bunch of plates stacked together. Alright, next up, we have this Corvette, part of my floating Lego Navy. These plates that are on the side of it, those allow for extra bricks to be placed on it so that it can float in bodies of water. Comes with 2 blasters, a large blaster in the front, which is fully adjustable, and an antenna blaster in the rear, which is also fully adjustable and swivels. This is not a Chevy Corvette. There's a classification of boat called Corvette. It's the smallest one available. 3, 2, 1. Wow, I think I built some of my stuff way too well. Nothing's really been destroyed. I'm actually a little disappointed. We're going to drop it from the nose. Nose drop in 3, 2, 1. Something broke. Looks like the front blaster fell off. Next up, we have a submarine. This floats, and when you take it underwater, it'll bounce back up like this, because I've placed weights inside the back of the submarine so that it can float properly and bounces out of the water when you let go of it. Those weights are also there to keep it floating like this, because before I put the weights in there, it would be do that or that. There's also weights in the nose. Testing submarine in 3, 2, 1. I see carnage. Split apart into 3 pieces. I'm going to quickly reassemble this and drop it from its nose. Three, 2, 1. Okay. This time it broke into 4 pieces. We can now move on to this 501st Special Unit Heavy Walking Cannon. I think this is a walking cannon. I don't know. This cannon is part of the newest 501st Battle Pack and also comes with 3 other clone troopers. Comes with a total of 2 heavy troopers, 1 sniper, and a commander. On the cannon right now is a heavy trooper with his heavy blaster, naturally, and a backpack. Cannon itself is fully adjustable within a fairly small range, and it comes with the spring-loaded brick. Oh, where'd it go? Each leg is also fully posable. Dropping the heavy cannon in 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. Is that the seat? Somehow the dart's still inside of it. I don't think the poor heavy trooper would have survived because he fell off completely. Up next, we have a frigate. Slightly bigger than the Corvette, but smaller than a destroyer, and it also floats. Comes with 3 turrets, 1 large blaster, and 2 smaller dual blasters, all of which are fully adjustable and swivel. Dropping the frigate in 3, 2, 1. Oh! I thought it was a touch more solid than that. Knocked off 2 of the cannons and shredded the hull. With the frigate fixed, we can now move on to this incomplete 501st ATRT. I've modified this one with a prototype, more screen realistic blaster. Instead of having that big stud shooter on the front of it, it has this style of cannon on it. I just need to get the correct color pieces. Got a clone trooper on the back. I don't suspect he'll be lasting very long. Dropping the ATRT in 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh! Oh, that completely shattered and pieces flew over the barrier. I am never seeing those pieces again. Poor clone trooper is absolutely done for. Biggest surviving chunk. Next up, we have a destroyer. The second biggest thing that you can find in a fleet, second only to the carrier itself. This is armed with 5 different blasters. A relatively small blaster on the front, a large blaster on the front, a missile launcher, a C-ram, and another large blaster in the back. All of which are fully adjustable. Except the C-ram. The poor C-ram can't aim up and down. Like the others, this one comes with its own flotation devices. These plates, unbelievably, are flotation devices, and extra bricks come off of these bricks here. Dropping the floating destroyer in 3, 2, 1. Oh! I did not account for pieces sliding under the door. Destroyer fared fairly well. Most of the cannons are gone, and it's missing the bridge pieces.
Up next, we have another old one, also shot on an iPhone 4S. This one is of a fist-sized Rexcelsior from the Lego Movie 2.
Next up, we have another Lego metric scale build, the AC-130 blaster ship. Comes with 3 blasters on the side, 2 smaller ones, and a very large one. Also comes with 2 external fuel tanks, 4 spinning propellers, and a rather large targeting sensor underneath the nose. This is quite a bit more sturdy than the other... I spoke too soon. AC-130 blaster ship in 3, 2, 1. Oh! Oh my gosh! One of those pieces nearly came back up to me. This tail fin tried to come back up to me. It nearly hit the fan. Oh! Tiger, show them the footage of the other camera. A wide-body GR Supra, which I've named Big Chungus because of its sheer size. A full tutorial on how to build this is available on my channel, and this thing has been widened by 2 studs to bring it from 9 studs wide to 11 studs wide. It's also been given other aggressive aero bits like this massive front splitter, a giant wing, and it is still fully drivable, although you might shred your front splitter on abrasive surfaces. Dropping Big Chungus in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that actually held up quite a bit better than I expected it to. The back is pretty much toast. I think that's where it impacted the ground first. Wings gone. You can see some of the internal modifications that had to be made. And 3, 2, 1. Whoa! That is toast! Next up, we're going to be dropping this car thing I found. I don't even know what this is supposed to be. This is one of the Lego creator sets, one of the 3-in-1 sets.
This looks like what you get when you combine a Nissan GTR and Dom's Dodge Charger.
I mean, it's cool. I just get confused every time I look at it. So, let's drop it. Alright, Nissan Charger drop test in 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh! The whole blower fell out of the hood. The wing fell off. The window fell off. Here's a better look at the engine. Here's the rest of the car. The wheels became very loose. Next up, we have this Lego set right here. I don't remember what it's called, but it looks like a buggy truck. This one belongs to my brother, who is kind enough to let me borrow it just for dropping. It's got a full independent rubber band suspension, and these have got 360 degrees of travel. The only thing stopping them is these bump stops here. That's crazy. Hood's missing, so you can see a piece in there that's supposed to be an engine. And taking a look inside, we can see a stormtrooper type person wearing bandages on his legs. And is that an ocelot? Dropping the buggy truck in 3, 2, 1. Oh, the suspension didn't even fall apart. It was just the tires that fell off. So we're going to be doing a nose drop. Nose drop of the buggy truck in 3, 2, 1. Ooh! The frame separated from the body and the suspension fell apart. Poor dude, poor axolotl. Neither of them are okay. Next up, we have this go-kart. You might remember from my last video, this fits in the bed of the Cybertruck with some disassembly. It has front wheel steering, a single seat for a single driver, full body kit, carburetor right there, and a fully working engine. Engine has 1 piston and 2 valves. Massive wing around the back. I like big wings. And a large differential to spin 2 wheels. Alright, Technic go-kart drop test in 3, 2, 1. Actually held on quite better than I expected it to. Alright, go-kart nose drop in 3, 2, 1. Ouch! Yeah, that just completely fell apart. It's pretty bad. Next up, as I mentioned before, this set belongs to a very good friend of mine. It is the brand new, well, newer, Lego TIE Bomber. This set features 4 push-pin missiles to simulate bombs in the bomb bay. Also has 2 stud shooters, although I don't know where the studs went. And the cockpit opens for a pilot, although he didn't want the pilot lost, so he didn't give it to me. Fairly accurate build. It makes nice use of rounded pieces. And the targeting sensor on the bottom. 2 blasters are underneath the windshield that I just broke. Oh gosh. I'm genuinely curious as to how this will handle the fall. It seems hefty and genuinely sturdy, but the hinge parts don't seem very sturdy. And that windshield doesn't either. Since he didn't give me his TIE Fighter pilot, I'm going to be dropping in another 501st Trooper. Just to see how well one minifigure would survive this. It's too bad the minifigure can't actually clip in, so if this windshield comes open, he's going to fly out of there. Drop test of my friend's TIE Bomber in 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. Oh, the wings are shattered. Next up, I'm sure some of you have been waiting for this since I've mentioned it several times before. We have my floating aircraft carrier. This was the very first floating Lego boat I built. Fully detailed. Turret with 2 blasters on top of the bridge. It is coated in FA-18 Legacy Hornets, specifically the Legacy Hornets because they're smaller. We got that Osprey from earlier and an E2 early warning plane or whatever it's called. I forget what it's called. Details everywhere. And water bottle pontoons on the side held up with duct tape to allow it to float even better. There's also a crumpled up water bottle inside, but I'm not going to bother opening up. You'll see it later. Aircraft carrier drop test in 3, 2, 1. Ouch. You know what? That held up quite a bit better than I was expecting it to. The damage is major. my gosh, we have half the E2 over here. A bunch of cracks all along the hull. Somehow 2 jets managed to stay on the whole time. Next up, we have the last set that doesn't belong to me. This is my friends, same friends, McLaren Senna GTR. The doors open up like this, which is where I got the inspiration for the Cybertruck doors. Only one wheel spins the engine. I'm not a big fan of that. Steering can be controlled from the roof and is fully exteriorly detailed, although it seems a little narrow. McLaren Senna drop test in 3, 2, 1. I'm not surprised. This is a Technic set, and Technic sets are very famous for being sturdy. Alright, McLaren Senna nosedive test in 3, 2, 1. Ooh. Up next to drop, we have my Lamborghini Huracán Technica, the newest addition to my collection. It has a V10 in the back, and like the McLaren from earlier in the video, usually it'd only be spun by one wheel, but I modified it so that both wheels spin the engine. Steering is the same as the McLaren, but the doors are normal. Lamborghini Huracán Technica drop in 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. That didn't fare nearly as well as I thought it would. This is something else. It's only being held on by that flexible thing. The hood. Lamborghini Huracán Technica nose drop in 3, 2, 1. Is that the engine cover? This is even worse than it was before. Engine cover came off. We're missing a wheel. Massive body damage. I see some frame damage. Barely runs. Next up, we have this Ford Model T trophy truck prototype. You might remember a while back I made a video on a Technic Ford Model T. Well, I've decided I'm going to try to turn it into a fully fledged RC trophy truck. Unfortunately, it is not running or driving at the moment. I need the proper battery and motors to make it actually run and drive. However, without those, I can still build the body and suspension of it. And this suspension is awesome. It is important to note a bunch of the mechanics are inspired by this guy's design. Up front, we have a double wishbone suspension. Both sides are fully independent from each other with a sway bar. There's also however many degrees of caster that is. Out back, we have a solid axle with the motor connected directly to it with another sway bar. And suspension, lots of suspension travel. That's about as far as the front can go, and the back is pretty much limitless. Model T trophy truck prototype drop, that is quite the mouthful. In 3, 2, 1. Oh wow. I have over-engineered this. I mean, yeah, the links all came apart, and it seems this truck's weakness is the ball joints. Not even the ball joint part itself, because the ball joint's still snapped in there. Given how this truck's still in its prototype phase, and I have no way of rebuilding it, I'm not going to bother with a nose drop.
I'm sorry, I lied. This one will be the very last one that doesn't belong to me. This one is my friend's Lego Land Rover Defender. You might remember I made a short about this one.
Next up, we have my dually diesel Tesla Cybertruck. This is from my latest LEGO video, and if you want to know all about it, check out that video. But it's powered by a 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine with valves, has a 3-speed crash-style transmission, dually tires, and solid axles front and rear. And as before mentioned, 2 butterfly doors. This might be the last time you see the Cybertruck in a very long time. LEGO Cybertruck drop test in 3, 2, 1. Ouch. Oh my gosh, the engine flew out. Oh my gosh. There's the bumper. There's part of the body. There's, oh my gosh, another part of the body. Here's a door. Oh my gosh, the frame broke. It's being held on by a little ball joint. Oh. Oh, that is toast. We have reached the final drop of the day, and to all of you guys who are still sitting here watching, I'm very thankful that you've decided to stick around until the very end, and now you get to see what I've saved for the end. I present to you my giant LEGO Millennium Falcon. I can hear someone crying with the thought of this being destroyed, but don't worry. I will try to rebuild it. I've basically had this built in one form or another over the past 5 years. It's gone through many phases, most of which had an empty interior except for the hallway for the blasters. But this time, it has a full interior. And these panels in between the, I forget what these are, front mandibles, I think that's what they're called. And on top of this panel, we have 2 buttons, which each shoot a missile. 1 spring-loaded missile each. To get inside, we simply remove the ceiling. I'm not going to give you a full tour of this ship right now. You're going to get that when this thing's dedicated video comes out. But I'm going to show you the gist of it. Inside here we have a detailed interior. And we have some of these to be placed on each turret for a play feature. The last time I had this built, it met the same fate as this one's going to meet. And I kid you not, the entire bedroom floor was coated in Legos. I've put in a lot of research to make this as accurate as possible, but unfortunately it's got a very chunky shape because this isn't supposed to be a super good looking display model, although nothing's stopping me from displaying it. No, it's supposed to be a minifigure scale playset. Minifigure scale is best because iconic scenes can be made throughout the ship. Prepare for mass destruction in 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! That is gone! I was not prepared for how bad that was going to be. Oh my gosh. I am not proud of how long that took me to build. I was going to make a video about it, but now I question if that's even possible because this is toast. I don't think there's any saving that because this is this is probably the biggest chunk of the bunch. Oh, man. I guarantee you there was a broken brown Lego brick in there. Well, with the Falcon, the Cybertruck, the Carrier, and the Supra, among other things, all gone for the moment, I have something to keep me occupied for the next at least month, I'm genuinely sad, and I'm never sad about Legos. I assure you guys, I will rebuild or do my best trying. But for my sake, and so you don't miss out on the return of all these destroyed items, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you don't miss any further videos. Oh, flip! Next up, we have this Lego. Oh dear, is that an axolotl? Not axle. Axle.